Muhammadur Rasulullah.
There shouldn't be a problem with how you've been brought up. You know, you have a code of ethics, you have a moral code, you know what's right and what's wrong. Why should there be anything else? Why do you need to have a God to tell you what is right and wrong?
Right.
So this, obviously, I couldn't come up with an answer to this.
Right.
So another colleague actually had, for whatever reason, said to me, well, you know what, you're Chinese, look into Buddhism. I wasn't really interested in looking into Buddhism.
Okay.
So what I wanted to look was at something else. And at the time, we're talking about the late 90s,
Right.
Islam, being a Muslim, although wasn't what I would say a mainline religion,
Right.
but it hadn't had the bad press as it has subsequently.
Right.
So I thought, well, why not? I was able to go to London Mosque
Okay.
in Southfields, and you know, I was lucky enough to attend a question and answer session.
Okay.
And I hadn't been to one of these events before. So I was asked to write down a question, of which I mean, I was stuck at the time because it was my first event.
Sure.
And the person just said to me, look, you can ask anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our Khalifa, will answer it. It doesn't matter. So I wrote down, how do you prove the existence of God to a non-believer?
Right.
So I posted my question in. It was the questioner started to recite the question, and the Khalifa just kind of like nodded and said, and his answer was, well, if you look around you, I've actually dealt with this question quite in depth within my book. So if you look at my book, you look at the chapters within my book relating to the existence of God.
That is rationality, isn't it?
Yes, rationality.
Okay.
So he said, look at the chapters regarding the existence of God, and you'll get your answer. But in short, if you look around you, how can this be by chance? So this struck a chord with me.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I was sat at the back of the hall, and I personally felt it's a bit of a vague answer. To tell you the truth, I could have come up with that answer.
At the time, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whilst I was thinking this, I was obviously alone with my thoughts. The next question had started to be asked, and the fourth Khalifa has put his hand up and stopped the questioner mid-question and looked at me directly and said, no, look, you can't just look superficially around you. You know, you look at the perfection of just a leaf. Look at nature itself here. Yeah. How can that be by chance? It has to be by a higher being.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It has to be by God.
Yeah.
And then he let the questionnaire carry on with the next question. And I felt, I'm sure, you know, we've all felt this, that when you've been caught, you know, chatting at the back of a room by your teacher, that's exactly how I felt. You know, but the weird thing was that how could he have heard me?
Right.
Really, how could he have heard me?
Because he was addressing your question, isn't it?
Yes, he addressed it directly in my head.
Yeah.
So I was a bit, you would say, befuddled by this. I walked out of the meeting, and at that point, a brother came up to present me with Huzzur's book, the fourth Khalifa's book. Yeah. And he'd signed it for me, and he'd actually marked the chapters. So I suppose this was the beginning of my understanding, or I wouldn't say understanding, but my journey to Islam.